Welcome to Home Ec with Abode Realty. We're your hosts, Jen and Kelly.
And we're here to teach you all about all the things home that school didn't.
Today's lesson, we're going to be talking about land transfer tax. This is not the cutest topic to discuss, but it is definitely an important one to consider if you're purchasing a property.
Absolutely. So what is land transfer tax exactly? It's a forgotten cost that happens at the end of the purchase. So essentially it is a tax that is payable to the provincial and municipal government if you purchase a home in the city of Toronto.
Double whammy, eh?
Now, that being said, you bring up an interesting point. If you purchase outside of the city of Toronto throughout the GTA, there is only one tax to pay, payable to the provincial government.
Important to note. So it does vary province to province, and then also in the city of Toronto, you've got that extra layer.
Absolutely.
So who pays the land transfer tax? It is actually the purchaser that pays the land transfer tax. This is not a cost of the seller. They're purchasing to have that title transferred into their name. When do we pay it, Jen? Enlighten us.
So like I mentioned before, it's actually payable at the end of the transaction when your legal team is drawing up all of the contracts and all of the monies are being transferred.
Beauty. So now the big question is, how much is land transfer tax? This one gets a little bit tricky.
It does get a little bit tricky. There's a lot of equating, a lot of percentages that goes into it, but it's kind of like a sliding scale. So if you can think of it like this, the first $55,000 is taxed at a rate of 0.5%. 55 to 250,000 is taxed at 1%. 250 to 400 is taxed at 1.5%, and anything above 400 is taxed at 2%. But home prices have gone up quite a bit in the last couple of years. So if you purchase something over 2 million, anything above 2 million is actually taxed at 2.5%. Now that is the provincial tax equation.
Dun, 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 dun.
There is additionally municipal tax, like I mentioned. So 0.5 of the first 55,000, 1% between 55 and 400,000, and anything above 400 is 2%.
The math is mathing.
Did you want me to break that down
So
for
many
you
numbers.
and make it like so simple?
We actually have a blog on the matter. If you'd like a visual, we will definitely put a link for that in the comments. If you are a visual learner, we'll help you along the way.
Yeah, so just to go back and really simplify it, imagine you have purchased $1 million home. The municipal tax at the end of the day when you go to calculate it is $16,475. And then the provincial tax is $16,475. So you've got two. So it's just a little over $32,000 if you're purchasing in the city of Toronto.
Which is not like pocket change. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I had a moment, but that's okay. You took it. It's fine.
Snatched it.
It's totally fine. So, but essentially, if you are buying outside of the GTA, it's actually cut in half. So you only owe $16,475 for a home that is $1 million.
Which is still not pocket change. So this is why it's so important to budget it in when you are getting your pre-approval, planning out your closing cost budget, and keeping that cash aside, because if you can't pay your land transfer tax, you don't get the house.
You kind of have an issue. So for example, if you're pre-approved for $1 million, you're going to want to scale that back. You don't want to actually go ahead and buy something that's exactly $1 million and then not have any money left over to complete the transaction.
Exactly. So this is also important to talk about with your mortgage broker, depending who it is. They may factor it in, they may not. And if you do not want to, math like Jen maths, you can be like me and use the Google calculator. It works really well to help you calculate those numbers.
And if you want to just get straight to it, we get no money for this, but ratehub.ca actually has a really fantastic and simple land transfer tax calculator. You can just plug in the purchase price, and if it's in the city of Toronto or not, it just pops out a number and you have an idea of what your land transfer tax actually is going to be.
Do you know what else it calculates?
Ooh, tell me.
If you're a first-time buyer.
Ooh.
What does that mean, Jen? What happened?
So essentially there is something called the first-time home buyer's rebate. And so what that means is if you've never purchased a home before in the city of Toronto or in the province of Ontario, you actually get a rebate of up to $4,000 from the from the province, and an additional rebate of $4,475 from the city of Toronto if you're purchasing in the city. So that's just a little over $8,000 to get back if you're a first-time home buyer, which really helps a lot.
Big difference. sure.
Absolutely, considering home prices and how expensive they are.
Exactly. So that is our lesson on land transfer tax. We hope that you learned something useful today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, follow, all those good things. And if you want to be in touch, DM us, find us on Instagram, and we hope to see you soon.
Don't be shy. Come and say hi.